All right, I will call this in order. And we will have the deputy clerk, Dakaya Porter, to call roll.
Commissioner Blakemore,
Present.
Commissioner Askew,
Here?
Chairwoman Thames,
Here.
Commissioner Hart,
Here.
Commissioner Wilson.
He's on his way, but right now he's absent.
Okay.
So, all right. Just for the record-keeping purposes, this agenda is the public presentation of the 2026-2027 budget. It is the only item on the agenda today. The budget cycle begins October 1st, 2026 and ends September 30th, 2027. The Board of Commissioners will hear the budget today and ask questions as they may, and there will be no decisions today from the board. The second public presentation will be the next board meeting scheduled on July 9th at 6:30. Then the vote will take place at our August 6th Commissioners meeting. The public is allowed to sit in on these public sessions, but are not allowed to ask questions nor to comment during these sessions. Hello, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson is present, if you'll make that note.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And now we'll now turn the presentation over to our Chief Financial Officer, Christian Roach.
Thank you all for joining me today. Currently, I just want to make the note that this is what we have worked up so far, and we are open to changes with this. So currently, I'll go through the presentation real quick, just to highlights. I'm going to present the budgets by fund. Then we'll go in depth with the general fund, the focus and metrics, major changes, and then I've got some strategic revenue and expense options to try to balance the budget. So I have prepared a packet with Anetta's help. This, on the first page, is a summary of all funds. Currently, the general fund is at a deficit with expenses 2.795 over revenue. We started with a requested budget of $12.6 million over, and during the budget work sessions, we had a $6.5 million increase, so now we've cut it down to 2.795. So that's what I'm going to be presenting today. We also have some of our major funds on the board. Our fire and rescue fund would be increasing expenses by $405,000, 911 $113,000, and landfill, it would be a reduction of $35,000, and then transit would be an increase of $51,000. So most of these, except for the landfill, are funded by the general fund currently. So those expenses will increase the general fund's budget, which is shown in the increase of 2.996 over last year. So revenue did increase by $201,000 by expectations. So that's where we get the 2.795. And so the revenue increase.
These slides are not in their packet.
They are not, no. The revenue increase is about 0.5%. The expenditure increase is 7.93%, which is significant. These are mostly changes with departments, mandated state increases, contract changes like the ambulance services, also some realignments in some departments and some strategic staffing decisions. So revenue, I just wanted to break this down so you could see where the revenue is coming from. So last year the budget was a little high on real property, so we brought it back down to what we expect to collect if the millage rate was, if we were to take the full rollback rate. Then local option sales tax, insurance premium tax, and personal tax, I showed a little bit of an increase. And then I've got some increases in rental income now that we've got a new contract with the DFACs. We are collecting more refund or income for that building. So our focus and metrics, this budget does include 4 new firefighters instead of the 9 requested. That can change, and we can show you at the end of the slide how that would affect our numbers. The general fund is proposed with this budget to fund almost $16 million. And then when you add the additional fire and 911 funds, you're looking at about $23.7 million of funding for public safety. And as you can see, in 2023, 24, and 25, we've had a lot of call volume. Fire has steadily increased, EMS has also steadily increased, and police has been kind of constant, but that's a lot of calls that we're going out and we're servicing citizens. Road maintenance, this budget includes $3.8 million for road improvements. $367,000 increase is due to engineering and other road repair material cost. This is the major expense drivers. So you can see from this chart that what makes up the $28 million, $2.8 million. So you have the sheriff's office is increasing by $585,000. The fire department's increasing by $405,000. The ambulance contract $350,000. The transfer from transit is $300,000. The road department $232,000. Animal shelter $225,000. And that's to bring it to what the operating minimum is. That's not any increases. That's just we cut the budget last year and didn't really make operational changes. So
That's keeping the budget as it ends up, it may end up this year, it'll be the same.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
Transfer to 911 $108,000, and welfare administration up $101,000. So some strategic revenue and expense options. I would like y'all to go to page 7 in your packet. This is just a calculation we did of an estimated rollback rate and how much it would cost. Actually, let's go back one page so I can just go over so page 5. This is our millage rate comparison with the school system and us. So last year in the unincorporated areas, we were 26% of the tax bill for property tax, and the school board was 74%.
It's a good picture.
And then you can see the bar graph to the side where the school system is remaining consistent with their property tax, their millage rates, and we have significantly declined in both areas. And then on the next page, you can see the historical tax collected. So the blue line, the blue chart is how much we collected in property tax total, and the orange line is what that amount is adjusted for inflation today. So back in 2017, when we were collecting $14 million, which is what we collect about now, it was worth $19 million. And some of those, adjusted for inflation, some of those departments that we have were half of the cost they are now. Back in the day, like Carter Brown's budget was one that was given to us. He said it was $600,000. Now it's increased to $1.2 million. So our collections for property taxes have remained consistent, but our expenses have gone up.
Let me ask one question
Of
about
course.
page 6. So the colors on the, I'm very simple-minded, on the colors on the bars are the same colors as page 5, but they're only the county's numbers on page 6,
Correct.
right?
Yes. Yeah, it's
Not the
just
state,
county
not the
numbers.
school.
Yeah.
Okay, yep. Thank you. Perfect.
You have any more questions on this? We'll flip to the next page. So we estimated the rollback rate for unincorporated to be 4.84, and then for incorporated 6.28. For the average home, we have $250,000 is that value. So we've put that in this calculator to show how much the millage rate would need to change to cover expenses. So if we were just looking at the millage rate to increase, for option 1, which is what we requested, all the departments requested, which was $12.5 million, that would be a significant increase in millage rate, and that's not on the table. Then we showed option 2, which is what we presented at the budget workshop, which would show an increase in $186 for the average resident in the unincorporated areas per year. And then the current proposal with $2.8 million would be an increase of $62.65 over last year.
But
And-
with so the budget increases a little bit, you're just showing different versions of the increase.
Yes, Yes, and we have another option I'll show y'all at the end where we can plug and play, and I can show you those numbers. So you have the information if you need it. All right. The other thing is the fire department. The transfer for the fire department is currently budgeted at $1.8 million. So the general fund is supplementing the fire department by $1.8 million. And the fire fund should be funded with the public safety fee. So we could look at increasing that potentially, if we wanted to cover those costs and have the general fund no longer paying for that.
Yeah.
So.
Which it doesn't pay for it now, is what you're saying?
Yes, and I believe it's supposed to also pay for the ambulance service.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not, and we just increased that to $600,000 a year, so we could look at that. That's $2.4 million if that we could look at increasing the public safety fee if that is an option.
Where's the insurance rebate going?
So the insurance rebate goes to the general fund, and it reduces the by the 1.8 million, the unincorporated taxes get rolled back. So that's why we have two different rates on page 7, is because the unincorporated is lowered by the insurance premium tax. One more page. That's why we have a unincorporated that's cheaper than the incorporated areas. Because the incorporated areas have a fire service.
Is it a line item on here?
No, it's not.
I see what you're saying, though, the people that in the unincorporated, or the people in the incorporated have the fire services within the cities, therefore they're still on there. I see, yeah, makes sense.
So it's a reduction in the property tax for
I
them.
understand.
Since the insurance premium tax comes from the unincorporated areas.
Yeah, okay.
And that's an allowable use of those funds. All right, so other strategic revenue options are, we currently have 911 services and animal shelter that we do for the cities. So we could look at some sort of intergovernmental agreement for the excess that the general funds happen to fund. So that is something that the board could look at doing, is potentially looking at an agreement with the cities to help fund that. We also have a lot of facilities that are rented, like DDS rents a facility we own. We could look at the rental agreement and see if there's some revenue, because the state has money and we shouldn't be giving them rent for next to nothing. Then there's expense reducing options. So this budget does include a 3% COLA, which I estimate that cost to be around $1 million. We are funding new positions. Right now, I've cut a significant amount of those, 5 from the fire department, 1 from code enforcement, and a few others. So doing the other ones that were requested would save us $365,000. Then we can look at just going through and prioritizing and cutting again, which is something I'm willing to do if needed. And then I can go through and make any changes. I have a plug and play here where we can look at the millage rate, making any changes to our final budget number and seeing how much that would reduce this. If we wanted to do a mix of increasing public safety fee or me going through and cutting the COLA, I can make that. I can put those changes in here so you can look at that.
So show us what a 4% COLA would look like. So a 4% instead of a 3% would be a $75 for unincorporated and a $99.75 So it would go
increase.
from 62.65 to 74.28?
Correct, yes.
Okay, gotcha. I'm looking at page 7.
But if we were to completely cut out the COLA, It would reduce it from 62 to 29,
yeah,
or 82 to 41.
for zero COLA.
Mhm.
Gotcha. What other scenarios do y'all want him to look at? And it doesn't have to be COLA, I just picked COLA.
And if there are any
something
questions at
else.
this point,
Well, so we briefly discussed in our hearings making the public safety fee totally support the fire department. I know there's been some questions about the public safety fee and what it does. I mean, if we did away with it completely, it would just go on the property tax. But in my discussion with Carolyn Walker for years, she would always say it's more economical for the homeowner to have the public safety fee versus having it on the taxes. So I would like to see what that, and you may not can do that here, but what that option would look like.
so I could put in here raising it to the maximum, which would cover those expenses.
Well, no, what I'm saying is if we took option 3, but we put those fees on the public safety fee, what would that make the public safety fee, and what would that lower our millage down to right here?
Yeah, I
I know
don't
you
have
can't do that here,
the
but-
property information to do the public safety fee,
I think
but
Sarah's working on that.
we did do an analysis and compared to other cities, and it seems like there is some opportunity to change how it's billed to corporations and non-homeowners.
Yeah, right now our fire safety fee is 14 cents per square foot across the board, and there's a maximums for the like warehouses and commercial properties. Some of the ways that I see in the past how it's done is we increase those rates for those commercial properties because they obviously can generate more revenue themselves because it's manufacturing facility or something like that. And you leave the fee for the residential property low, and then you maximize the other properties to get you more revenue and for the fire fee.
I think we might see more benefit from that when we start getting more industry in the unincorporated part, because we only have one big industry in the unincorporated. Everybody else is in the cities.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
there are, you see what I'm saying? Not to say that's not a bad idea. It just, I think we get benefit from it as we grow in industry.
Okay.
I don't know if it'd help us exactly right now.
Yeah, I also compared some of the rates for the fire fee and for our residential. They're a little bit lower than what I see around. We have about 14 cents. I see 16, and so that will be a little bit of money that can come in from that. To do really analysis, I need property appraisals data.
Right.
So to give you examples of things.
Yeah, they couldn't get that information
fast enough.
quick, quick enough from the tax
Hopefully for the
assessor
next
office.
meeting, we can get more on that.
Will the insurance rebate fund the fire department to the full
No.
extent?
No, so the fire department's costing us about 8.2 million with just 4 new firefighters.
I'm
instead
just
of-
talking about with the fire fee that they got now plus the insurance rebate.
Yes, with the fire fee and the insurance
Insurance
rebate, yeah,
rebate.
but you would cripple the general fund. The general fund we would need to increase the millage rate to cover that deficit.
But if they recover it, because that's the number one service the county should provide to the.
We're gonna have to cut some services.
That's what I'm saying, so
Yeah.
we need to look at where the money needs to cut out of the general fund possibly.
Hey, I want to understand something too, Christian, real quick,
course.
on the three options on page 7. And I was just kind of looking at, those differences in the millage rate, what it would do to the taxpayer at the end of the game. That's on the average of a $250,000 house, correct?
Yes.
So am I reading this right? So on option 2, it increased by $186.76.
That was if we go back and raise what I've already cut.
Raise what you've cut.
So that is, option 2 is what we presented at the workshop.
Yeah, you're right,
So
right.
I went through and cut some additional things, added some
Right,
vacancies.
so my question was though, when I look at that option, and I look at $186 a year, and I divide that by 12, it's $15 a month of a tax increase if you go back and look at our schedules that you put together in the pie chart, we're steadily going the other direction. Every day, the school board's staying the same. we're steadily trying to roll it back, and our costs are every year going up.
Correct, that is correct.
And nobody wants a tax increase, but everybody wants the services funded.
Correct.
And so, you know, I'm just looking, I wanted to make sure I was understanding this correctly, that even at an increase of that proportion, at the end of the day, it's a $15 a month increase.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I mean, I understand especially on people that living on fixed income. But I also know $15 a month is, you know, I know how to squeeze out $15 a month in a lot of ways. So I'm just curious about, that's why I wanted to make sure that I was understanding that. So if the millage was, if the big roll, but if you did the big millage rate increase, it'd be the $385 a year difference,
Yeah.
which would equate to
$32.
$32 a month, $1 a day.
Yeah.
For this $1 a day increase for all the services that are provided
Yes.
throughout the county. I just want to make that point. Okay.
That is
Thank
correct.
you.
That's correct.
Thank you.
I mean, that chart right there shows you pretty good.
The value of the dollar has gone down significantly.
100%.
And that's what we're battling.
Yes.
That's what we're battling is the value, like I said, and like, nobody in here wants to raise taxes on anybody. That's not, but fee, everything goes up every year. And I just see over the years that I've been involved, see that difference, that one keeps declining and one
Yeah.
keeps, and that's never gonna work. It's never gonna work out. So we,
The one thing I'll add, is I think everybody at this table agree, we're gonna have to do the 9 firefighter positions. I mean, there's no way.
Perfect, I can add that in right now.
It's gonna have to happen.
So, adding the 5 would add $338,000 to that number.
I mean, we'll have to
So-
figure out how we're gonna fund it for sure, but I mean,
If-
we've kicked it down the road long enough, it's gotta happen.
Sounds good. So, what we can do is we could do a mixture if we wanted. Let's say I did the public safety fee, we increased it to collect $1.8 million more, which is what the general fund is funding right now.
Yeah.
We add the 5 positions back, we're at an increase of the millage rate of $14 a year, less than $1 a month.
Yeah, and it's gonna save people's lives and firefighters, so.
Correct.
It's a no-brainer.
exactly.
And it does make sense to increase the public safety fee and add more firefighters.
Yeah, I agree.
What does it do to the sheriff's budget?
So, we could increase the sheriff's, good bit too. We could do a 1% increase here, that's $68,000. Increase the millage rate to 16.33.
And what is it, you have to tell me what their original request was and what does it do now?
So their original request, was $1.4 million, and I cut it down to $585, or $1,000.
So you're adding to the $580,000,
Yes.
right, by adding
Correct.
1%, okay. Because you basically cut their budget in half, or their increase in half.
More than half, yeah.
Yeah. So
And that's by
I thought
strategically-
the sheriff's office needs some attention.
That's strategically budgeting for vacancies too.
Yeah.
So they have a high attrition rate.
Yeah.
And so what I've done is I've taken those positions, they're still there, but I'm no longer budgeting for them because they're not full right now.
Yeah.
And last year they were, they didn't have a 100% staff. So if we were to fully staff the sheriff's office, we would have to look at making a budget amendment to accommodate for those in the mid-year. And we also did that with the DA when we met with them with the counties. That was one of the things the counties agreed upon, was not funding a position but still leaving it open.
The transfer on the 300,000 to transit,
Yes.
explain that to me, please.
So the transit is only increasing by 51,000. The transfer was not budgeted. The grant that we received for transit was budgeted at $500,000 in the past, and we're only receiving 320.
So our grant is reducing, the grant that funds transit has been reducing yearly?
No, what we've been collecting has been consistent. I don't know why, but the budget for that grant was higher than we're receiving. I'm not sure why. I just corrected it to actuals.
I got you. In prior budget?
Yes.
I got you.
And we're looking at ways to save costs there. We're looking at bringing something to the board, an analysis
Yeah,
of
we have a meeting
operating.
we're gonna have a strategic meeting with transit in the next week, because I've got a lot of questions about transit myself.
And just one other, while we're explaining that to me, on the animal shelter, where with the plus 225, I think you said it was, there's
So
budget was
last
staying the
year, we
same?
budgeted, we cut it from $1 million from the prior year. So 2 years ago, it was $1 million. Last year, this current one, we cut it to 800. They did not survive at 800. They went over that to 1.2. So this adds that gap to make it, it's gonna be 1.2. We're spending 1.2 at the shelter. We didn't give them any more money, but cutting it last year didn't work. They had to have the $200-something thousand. So that's what that is.
And we've talked about reducing the amount of, we've talked about a lot of other things out there as well, so
Yep.
that's why I was just curious about.
Yeah, we've tried a lot of different things. Nothing has penetrated that escalation of numbers every month.
Do you have any further questions for me?
So, with the changes we discussed, will you bring us something back?
Yes, so
Is it
I
happen-
intend to bring something back on the July 9th meeting, I believe. So that's when I'll propose, you'll have the final budget that I'm proposing, and then we'll have public comment. So then we'll make changes. Again, have public comment in August, and then potentially vote on it after that.
Yeah. One thing, and it's not gonna change our money. I do support raises. I mean, we gotta keep up with society. I mean, but I would rather see us take that 3% COLA, which is $1 million, and give like $1. I think it equates to about $1.13 or something. You divide it out per employee. That way, some of our lower paid employees get a little more percentage, and our higher paid, the people that are making, $100,000 a year, they won't see as high a percentage. They'll still
Correct,
get a
yep.
raise. I would rather see that than a across the board percentage COLA, because I think
Okay.
that's some of the positions we have a hard time filling with.
Yeah,
in the county.
and that would look at about a $2,000 bonus or increase for every employee. So I mean, that's pretty substantial for.
Or we could consider a one-time bonus and work on that plan next year, because I think that's a good plan, and it kind of goes along with what I have in store for next year, is like more performance-based raises, rather than just a flat percent.
Yeah,
Just an idea.
because I agree that the 3%, I mean, it doesn't cover the cost of living. I mean, it's just, it doesn't, we all know that. Everybody sitting in the room knows that. And
Yeah,
so
but
it's
what I'm-
trying to help out, it's
Yeah.
trying to give something, but it's not,
That's why I think for
breaching the gap.
it'd be a bigger percentage for our lower paid
Yes.
employees, and it would
Correct.
help them. They're the ones that are really struggling. The people that are making less than $50,000 a year are struggling a lot more than the people that are making $100,000 a year. I mean, so it gives them a little more percentage if we just break it out in $1.15, whatever percentage.
Yeah.
Well, keep
Whatever
in
it breaks out
mind
to.
that we being the HR department and I have gone through pretty much every department by now, and to make sure that we are staying within the industry range. So we don't want to go over the range and pay more than what everybody else is paying for these jobs. So that's the only reason I thought maybe a bonus, one-time bonus would be.
Okay.
And
But maybe I'll have more information. I'm just throwing that out right now,
Yeah,
so I don't
okay.
have any backup with that. But maybe I'll have something before the July 9th meeting to.
And a bonus may be appreciated a little bit more, because you'll see $1 on a check, $1 doesn't really equate to much when you've spread it out over 26 checks.
Yeah.
But if you
Especially
were
right
to do a
before
one-time bonus, say in November, right before Black Friday or something,
Mm-hmm.
that could be utilized a lot better by our employees. Might be more appreciated,
Yeah.
and less of a cost on the budget as well.
I just would like to have time to ensure that we are within market value of the other counties. I can't go into private industry and
Right.
check that. It's
I
not
understand.
apples to apples, so I have to stay within county or government. I guess the arena, if you will. So anyway, I appreciate the conversation. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a great graph, by the way. That's very explanatory and it's easy to
Thank you.
read. Thank you.
And everything else is included in this packet. You can look at line by line what the expense is. It does not have what the department requested. But I can provide that if you want it.
Does this have their last year expenses like these
Yes,
departments?
yes, and what we estimate the end of the year to project to and what they were at 6 months, which is what I've reported to the board. Fiscal year 25 and 24 actuals.
I wish I'd thought to ask y'all to put an index in here so we could say, like
Yeah,
like on page
Well,
such and such is whatever.
we're working on progression.
I know y'all have like.
Progress, not perfection.
This is great, though. This is a lot.
It's much easier to read.
Yeah, it is, yeah. It's very much appreciated.
Yes.
You and Annette have done a great job.
I've also included some notes here so you can look at line by line, so it makes it a little easier to consume later on.
So your memo here is basically what you've already told us, so they can take it with them and digest what
Yes.
has been thrown at them today. The biggest part is that middle part of the first page, that top driver of the 2.8 increase.
Which
And
is
those
the-
numbers will change if we choose option 2, right?
Oh, yeah.
These numbers will be different on this page.
Yeah,
Yeah. And just to be clear, the option 2 includes 9 firefighter positions and an increase to, not an increase, but I guess it is an increase to your reduction
Yeah.
for the sheriff's office, and other departments as well. So they're all listed here. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody want to go back to that plug and play page, like where we can add numbers, scenarios? I think this is a great feature, and we need to use it if we have thoughts of what would it do if we did this. Or that.
Yeah, also if we can change, if somebody says like the median house is 250, which is the assessed value, then the value, the 40% is what you pay in taxes on. So if you wanna change the median house, because you said the 250 is maybe not representative on my district, maybe people have bigger houses there,
Yeah.
we can see what it's gonna cost them.
Yeah.
So we can do that as well. with
Okay.
this.
Where did you get the 250? Is that,
On property appraisal.
Okay, so
When I
that-
asked
so-
the median household
so that is
value
the- okay.
in the county,
Okay.
that's what I've been given, and then the assessed value is the 40% of your
Understand.
gross value. And
yeah, I
then,
got you.
This assuming that everybody has a homestead exemption, so that's the $2,000, and then it's your taxable value, it's the 98,000, and that's what you pay
Yeah,
taxes on.
I got it.
and if we were to transition to, I know L-Host was shot down by the legislation, but if we were to try to get that back and get that passed by the voters, these voters could save almost $600 on their tax bill.
With that 1% sales tax.
And that's just the county portion, because the cities would be included. That would probably wipe out all our homestead exemptions for the county, and then there would be an additional savings on top of that for commercial and people that aren't homesteaded.
Yeah, because the L host was simply for
Just
the
homestead,
residents,
yeah.
that's all.
And then when we would
If
get
we tried to
the,
do that flossed, if we tried to put it on there.
so if we did the flossed, it would just be a flat savings, so it wouldn't do 600 for the average
Yeah, that's
homeowner.
what I thought.
Yeah, it would do probably like 300, but it would do it across the board.
Yeah, it's very disappointing.
I agree.
There's always next year.
Yeah, we couldn't start collecting until January 2028 anyway, so we still have another year to try to get that.
I thought they was gonna allow 27 if they
Well,
passed
they-
it, put it on November.
They said that because it was a law change, that the governor would have to do it, and they didn't think the governor would change with him changing.
Well, he declared that day that he wasn't going
Yeah.
to change it. Yeah. What else, guys?
I think I'm good.
Well, I think Christian and Annetta did a great job of
Awesome
breaking it
job.
down.
So,
A
thanks.
little bit easier to read and follow. warn them to be ready for more questions when
Yes.
they have this in for about 2 weeks to look at.
Yeah. We are available.
Yes, please call and ask them questions. Don't ask me. No, I'll try to do my best too. Well, I mean, if you don't have anything else, I don't see it.
Short executive session.
Okay, we have to, I will then, if we're finished with questions about the budget, then we obviously need to go into executive session, so I'll ask I'll end the session and ask the visitors to leave the room, please. We're ended for just a moment.
Do you not
Recess.
have to say why we have the executive?
Make a motion
For personnel, cybersecurity, litigation, and acquisition.
Land property.
And of course, the deputy clerk needs to stay to
Never seen that.
keep us. All right, I will bring us back into session. Having no action items from the executive session, I will adjourn. Thank you very much.
Thank you.